What the heck? Okay. Okay. I see what. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's what happened. Okay. My camera isn't as good as it is because I'm using the video camera from from the wait a minute, let me see what's going on now. Something hellacious is going on. Okay. Jack Daniels the box. Ooh. Okay, Jack Daniels is the Boxer's Treasure Channel, and I'm back on again. A couple of times the system failed and we went black, right? So, but I am one of the persistent ones as a man, and I got it back up to speed. And that being said, we are back at y'all with another one. I know I've been laid up for a couple of days, actually feeling the blues because I can't seem to get the right information necessary to catapult my podcast to the next level. And that has a lot to do with the I want to say the mechanics associated with being a YouTuber, such as thumbnails, um, being able to edit videos, and things of that nature. Now, I have been the type all my life where I have been able to figure things out, right? I mean, sometimes things are somewhat of a struggle, but at the end of the day, because I can read and write, right? All of us have that ability. Some of us choose not to resort to the mechanics necessary to be able to read and write adequately, and I feel bad for them. But me myself, I had took to um, books, right? I took to books years ago to be able to be in a position where I could basically take on the challenge of being able to participate with the English word, be one of the intellectual astute, if you will. And I take that very seriously. I still, to this day, take that very seriously in the sense that I read and write. I constantly engage in the uh, in reading and writing, right? To continue to be the best I can be at reading and writing, and where I can be in a position where I can do the things that I like to do. And one of the things that I really enjoy doing is this podcast, right? But that's not going to me being stressed out for a few days. It's not going to stop me from continuously making the effort necessary to round out all the attachments, all the components necessary to catapult this podcast to the highest peak. And I am going to do that one way or the other, right? I don't want to be one of those guys that has to get out and pay somebody to um, create content, because I can create content, right? I can hear it. I know boxing, frontwards and backwards. I know boxing, and I'm quite sure by now you guys are aware that I know boxing. And contrary to the fact that you guys don't tune in as I would like you to, theoretically, I believe that that's because my podcast, quote unquote, isn't as glorious, is as glamorous as everybody else's. Where of the thumbnails, uh, the videos that attract people to the channel. I haven't got there yet, but trust me when I tell you this. I will get there. I will get there, and I will catapult this podcast to number one. I will, because I'm that type of man. You know what I mean? But now that being said, and at the end of the day, it's about boxing, right? Um, Brian Norman Jr., right, is in a position where he is a world champion. He is the WBO welterweight champion of the world, right? WBO welterweight champion of the world, and he is trying to get an opponent to get in the ring with. Now, Gil Coles, shout out to you, brother. I'm not going to say that you didn't contact me like I requested you to, because I don't know the area code that you're calling from, right? So therefore, if I don't know where you call, if I don't know who's calling, I'm not going to answer. You know what I'm saying? That's just me, right? That's why I do that, 'cause, you know what I mean. Other than a person who I know is calling, and we have had. Did you call? Gil, did you call, brother? Okay, I got you. Okay. You're at work today, I'm assuming. Anyway, if you're not at work, or if you're at work, when you get off work, give me a call, brother, because I still need to have some conversation with you. A capiche? Right. Oh, now, check this out. Brian Norman. That's what we're talking about today. Cool. Shout out to Gil Cole, my man. So, Brian Norman, right? Brian Norman is trying to actually, these are the words of his father. He is basically trying to use a boxer at the higher echelon of the boxing ladder, right? He wants to get in the ring with somebody who is a champion, is a champion also. It doesn't matter who he is, as long as he got a strap. Brian Norman is willing to get in the ring with him, and that's saying a lot for Brian Norman in the sense that he ain't afraid to take a loss. But now, by the same token, Brian Norman, in my opinion, right, um, kind of scares a lot of cats off when it comes to the possibility of them taking a loss, because Brian Norman talks a lot of stuff about his ability in the ring, right? Brian Norman is straightforward. He's saying he don't care who you is. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm gonna do to you. And I mean, and the way that he does it is like, especially for a boxer like Teofimo Lopez. Now I know I made mention to shout out to the boxing boys that after Brian Norman Sr.'s father came on, I took Ness and told him Brian Norman and his father just talked himself out of the fight with Teofimo Lopez, because there was some chatter about the two possibly making that fight. But Brian Norman's father got on and just like, Teofimo Lopez is really not the most confident boxer that is in that weight class, right? The 140-pound weight class, right? He's a champion, and he can box, right? But I strongly believe that Teofimo Lopez is not the type that's going to take a serious risk of another loss. So he kind of cherry picks who he's going to get in the ring with. And I know after that conversation that Brian Norman's father had with Ness, that Teofimo Lopez was not going to sign a contract to get in the ring with Brian Norman, because Brian Norman had made it perfectly clear that he was going to whoop Teofimo Lopez, and he meant bad, right? So that being said, I think that was too much for Teofimo Lopez and Teofimo Lopez's fathers to digest, and they just like went sideways with any negotiations leading up to the fight between Brian Norman and Teofimo Lopez. Now, here's another situation where Jerome Boots Ennis, right, was trying to make a fight with Brian Norman Jr. So they was back and forth with somebody. Both of them was accusing each other of ducking one another based on some verbiage that they had between Brian Norman Sr. and Jerome Boots and his father, right? It was a bunch of shout out, bunch of misunderstanding. But at the end of the day, it was said that neither one of them was ducking one another, right? And that it came to fruition that it appeared that Eddie Hearns, right, didn't want that fight to be made. Now, I don't know, but I can also say that Brian Norman Sr. said a lot of things about what they were going to. Now, he didn't say it verbatim. He was just saying, like you know what I'm saying, his son was bad, and whoever get in the ring with, I mean, it is what it is, and he don't care who it is, right? They don't have nothing on his son. I mean, I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that if your skill set is consistent with what you're saying. Now, I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying that it isn't. But that for right, to entertain all the verbiage that's coming from Brian Norman Jr. and for the promoters to hear that type of verdict, it's kind of like a turnoff, in my opinion, right? I've been in the business, in the boxing business for over 40 years, 50 years, right? And I know boxing. I know how these cats think, especially for promoters when it comes to getting the most out of their boxers, right? Their fighters. They are not going to put themselves in a position to risk a loss on a high level boxer like Jerome Bruce Ennis. And again, the way that Brian Norman Sr. was making the proposal to fight Boots, it was like, I don't think that some, my opinion was that fight is not going to be made. And true to form, that fight is not going to be made. Those two are not going to fight. I would like very much so to have a conversation with Brian Norman Sr., right? And try to give him some intellect on how not to dissuade people from getting in the ring with your son. This is big business, right? The money speaks for itself when it comes to, especially a Jerome Bruce Ennis. Jerome Bruce Ennis is up there on in the category of a top 5 in the world type of boxer, right? So a person like Eddie Hearn realizes that Jerome Ennis potentially could be a great train to wealth, and they are not going to risk putting him in there with somebody who is saying, "I'm gonna kick you. I'm gonna beat you down, dude." You know what I'm saying? I don't care about none of that. What you talking about, right? I'm gonna beat you down. Okay, who you are? You know what I mean? And not saying that he wouldn't be capable of doing that, but I'm just saying, in order to get in the ring, you kind of gotta, like, you know what I'm saying, not be submissive or eat humble pie, but you gotta, like, chill out until you get the contract signed. And once you get the contract, you say what you want to say, right? But I just fear that Brian Norman Jr. is going to have a problem getting a good fight. Now, I could be wrong, but 9 times out of 10, what I believe is consistent with what has been going on with Brian Norman Jr. getting fights. So, shout out to Brian Norman Sr. And if you get a chance to hear this message, man, the phone number is available on my podcast, right? Give me a call, man. And as a matter of fact, I've been trying to figure out, are we relatives? My mother is a Norman, and we are not too far from Georgia. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I would like to know. And I mean, it has nothing to do with me, like, trying to put myself in a position where I'm trying to edge up to you because your son's a good boxer, right? I just need to know if we're related. That being said, Jerome Bruce Ennis is 27. He's 5'10" with a 74-inch arm reach. He's a right-hander. He has 32 wins. Damn, 28 knockouts. Damn, I didn't know Boots was a knockout artist. Not really. I know he had a lot of knockouts, but 28? No losses. Never been stopped, no draws. He is currently the IDF welterweight champion of the world. And people, as is the case with Eddie Hearn, are high on Jerome Boots Ennis, right? They want to see Jerome Boots Ennis put some work in. Now, I will say that Eddie Hearn and Turki Al-Sheikh are trying to get Jerome into some good fights, right? Turki Al-Sheikh, I mean, Turki Al-Sheikh, in my opinion, means business when it comes to fights, but he wants to put on good fights. You know what I mean? Fights that people are gonna relish to see. You know what I mean? It's business. You put on good fights, you're gonna get paid, right? You don't put on a good fight, you're not gonna get paid. And not being able to put on good fight is not necessarily at the behest of the promoter alone. A lot of this has to do with ducking. These fighters, they be ducking, man. They be ducking, you know what I'm saying? And me personally, I'm just not used to that. And I'm going to be really critical of that type of behavior. Because when I boxed, I wasn't in the ducking. The era that I came in, we wasn't in the ducking, right? You get called out, get your hand called out. You know what I'm saying? You do what you do. You get in shape. You know what I mean? You do all the necessary things to win the fight, right? And you get there and have a go at it. But these cats today, you heard me? These cats today are literally scared to take a W, right? And that's one of the reasons why boxing leaves a distasteful taste in my mouth. I have never felt this way about boxing before. But these young dudes today do not have the guts and the cojones that we had back in the days when I boxed. You know what I mean? The days of Muhammad Ali, the days of Sugar Ray Leonard, the days of Thomas Hitman Hearn, the days of Marvin Hagler, and the list goes on and on and on, right? So I'm just saying, man, you know, like y'all need to, you know what I'm saying, work on your craft. Work on your craft to the point where you'll get in the ring with anybody. If they call your hand, you get in the ring. William Zepeda was called out by Shakur Stevenson, and now I can kind of respect what William Zepeda. He basically said he wasn't ready for the challenge, right? And I can respect that type of behavior. And you don't get to. I don't call you a duck under those type of circumstances, right? If you ain't ready, you ain't ready. If you're man enough to say you ain't ready, you ain't ready. I get that. This is a shout out to Gil Cole. This is the era of social media and instant gratification. That's why there is more ducking going on in boxing. Hey! Shout out to Gil Cole. Shout out to Yasser Hassan. Yes, sir. Shout out to you, brother. Yeah, hey. I most definitely will concur with that analogy. But the fact remains the same at the end of the day. That ducking stuff is really irritating. It's irritating as hell because you don't get the big fights made because, as Gil said, this is an era of social media and instant gratification. Very well put, Gil Cole. Very well put. So we need to stop having all this energy toward all these ducks, right? It doesn't matter to a lot of these dudes in the boxing game, right? That follow boxing race. They don't care. They don't care about the ducking, right? As long as they can have some conversation about their favorite boxer, that's cool. How man, that's some square boo boo. You know what I'm saying? That's some I just can't internalize that kind of foolishness. You know what I mean? And how y'all can do it is beyond me. Y'all some, I mean, that's weak. That is weak. You heard me? Now, Brian Norman is 23 years of age. He's 5'8" with a 72-inch arm rate. He's a right-handed. He has 26 wins, 20 by knockout, no losses, no draws, and he's never been stopped. You got what that? Brian, oh, okay, okay. I was being nosy to see what Gil said, but anyway, Brian Norman is also the WBO welterweight champion of the world, and we want to see Brian Norman Jr. I don't care who he fights, as long as we can get him in the ring and get him in the ring with a good opponent. I want to see Brian Norman in the ring because Brian Norman has indicated that he is one of the top tier boxers, and he's unwhoopable. That's what Brian Norman is basically saying. So that's all I got for y'all today. Hit that subscription button, hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, and tell me what you think about all this ducking. You like it or you don't like it? Share my video with your friends and relatives. And with that, peace out. Oh, I wish I wouldn't have cut that out.